Space is mysterious and mesmerizing. We, the people, have been striving to uncover all the secrets of the universe for centuries. In this video, I'm going to explain you why the missions like Perseverance Rover are important for the international relations and politics. But before we dive into the mission itself, let's talk about the history of the space exploration. In 1957, the Soviet Union sends the first ever human-made object, Sputnik 1 satellite. The very same year, the humankind sends the first creatures to the open space, the monkeys Abel and Baker. And then, with Sputnik 2 satellite, they're sending the dog Laika. However, her fate is tragic because she died in hours into mission because of the overheat and panic. Despite that, we're going to remember the names of the heroes who gave us the vicarious access to this mesmerizing area, space. Like Apollo 1, Soyuz 11, and of course the Shuttle Challenger, which in 1986 had the very tragic liftoff, and it took the lives of the whole crew. 1961, huge milestone for the humankind. We're sending the first human to space, Yuri Gagarin, who spends more than 100 minutes around the Earth's orbit. 1963, Valentina Tereshkova is the first woman to be ever sent to space. She spends over 3 days on the orbit of Earth and circles around the Earth 49 times. Her mission is successful, however, she was injured during the mission. And now she's okay. She's one of the most famous advocates for the referendum in 2020 in Russia, which theoretically gives Putin rights to be the president of the Russian Federation up until 2036. The Russian cosmonaut Alexey Leonov was the first man who carried out spacewalk from the two-man spacecraft Voskhod. The minutes after he stepped out from the spacecraft, his costume expanded due to zero pressure, and in order to fit back into the hatch, he had to depressurize his costume. American astronauts Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong were the first men to step on the moon. They spent 8 days in their mission and hours setting the equipment on the moon and gathering the rocks. When describing the surface of the moon, Neil Armstrong said that it was like white charcoal. Then the Russians sent the first space station Salyut. After that, this is my favorite. Bruce McCandless is the first man who did spacewalk being unattached to the spacecraft. He was testing the man-maneuvered unit, which allowed him the 90-minute spacewalk being unattached to the spacecraft. Dennis Tito is the first space tourist ever. He paid $20 million to be the passenger on the International Space Station, where he spends 8 days. Sounds like a good vacation to me. Space exploration is one of the two things that makes even hostile countries to cooperate. The other thing would be some sort of planetary scale disaster, but let's hope that doesn't happen. International Space Station is one of the projects where two hostile countries, Russians and the Americans, have been cooperating. Americans have been seeking to build the space station for decades, and up until 1990s during the Clinton administration, nothing was ever done. However, milestones like the famous handshake between the Alexey Leonov and American Brigadier Stafford were giving hopes to the international politics to be more cooperative. And Clinton administration invited Russians to build the International Space Station. Now this space station is the largest artificial body in space. We can describe it as the two-segment spacecraft, the Russian segment and the American segment. However, when we look at it entirely, we can see that if one segment suffers, the other segment will find hard to survive. And over 200 astronauts from 19 countries have been spending months working on scientific explorations and cooperate with each other. Perseverance is the continuation of the Curiosity rover mission, which in itself was very successful, because now we know that Mars once had water and the atmosphere. Perseverance itself as a scientific tool has much better equipment than its predecessor, Curiosity. It is fully operational since yesterday, 18th February 2021. The overall mission cost will be around $3 billion, and it will take 2 separate missions to retrieve all the scientific explorations from the rover, and NASA joins in the struggle with the European Space Agency. Why missions like Perseverance are important for the international relations and politics? It is simply because the more people will pay attention to the missions like this and cooperation like this, the more the agenda from zero-sum game of the geopolitics will shift to the cooperation, and it will benefit the international relations and change the nature of the hostile international politics. So, and as we know, hundreds of thousands of people have been watching the live of landing the Perseverance mission. And if the citizens, along with global elites, will pay attention more to cooperation like this, the answer is clear. 2021 proves that it is a very rich year, rich by the international cooperation and the strive to explore the outer space. The missions like HOPE by United Arab Emirates will gather the data from the Red Planet, and it is already operational for the next 2 years. The Chinese are also sending their mission Tianwen, which is a Mars rover, and it will be operational in the summer of this year, and it is like Perseverance is a long-term mission to retrieve the scientific exploration from the Mars. One of the important milestones is that Europeans and Russians are also joining together in this space race. They're sending the mission ExoMars by 2022, which was unfortunately delayed by the pandemic. The Rosalind Franklin rover will be mated by the Cosmonaut platform, and they will launch the long-term mission just like Tianwen and Perseverance on the Red Planet. In conclusion, my message is clear. The more we pay attention to the cooperation, the more we shift political agenda from zero-sum game to cooperation, just like the European Space Agency and Roscosmos, the ExoMars mission, because despite all these sanctions and tensions, they are launching the mission together. I hope you liked the video. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and if you haven't seen other videos, just click and watch it. Until next time.